All right, this is a lot of fun comparing the two interviews. Let's check this out.
Keeping her sort of close to it all.
And I guess we better have a look at it. What kind of ring is it? Are you an expert on what's...
I'm not an expert on it at all. I've been reliably informed it's a sapphire with some diamonds, but I'm sure everyone reckons.
So I'm just gonna say from that, like for me, that was just charming. The way he said, "I've been reliably informed it's sapphire with diamond," after he's saying he's not an expert on it. It's just like he's just charming. That's a charming thing to say. It's hard to sometimes put your finger on it, but let's compare that to these two.
Introduced you, was she trying to set you up?
Yes, it was definitely a setup. It was a blind date.
It was a blind date,
and,
for sure.
And it's so interesting because we talk about it now, and even then, because I'm from the States, you don't grow up with this.
See, I wanted to get some of Harry talking, but it's hard to get him talking. Like, what is she talking about? The States? And she talks too much. And I'm telling you, like, from a guy's perspective, I mean, I've never dated a woman anywhere near that, but I've seen guys do it. Just being around someone like that drains your energy. It's draining. I mean, imagine, I guess not just as a guy, I imagine, for anybody, but just like that is not a woman you date.
Understanding of the royal family, and so while I now understand very clearly, there's a global interest there.
What? That's so silly. Okay, let's see him.
And we just said, right, where's the gap? And the gap.
So there he's talking about how basically he's trying to find the gap in her extremely important schedule. Like, she just twisted his mind, right? What do you mean the gap in her schedule? What was she doing? Like, she was a hostess, she was playing, fellatio woman in Car in Beverly Hills 90210. Literally, that was her part, so yeah. But one thing I just get from this, for those of you in the UK, it's wonderful that he is not the older brother, because I honestly think if you had to, if he were to become king, listen to him talk all the time, I think it would actually like hurt the culture just to be exposed to it, because he's just rambling and foolish, versus William is very controlled and charming.
Is it from previous times? So.
And Kate, you're going to be in envy of many.
Well, I just hope I look after it.
Yeah. She loses.
But
She's in big trouble.
it's very, very special.
It has to be said, you both look incredibly happy and relaxed.
I'll say that too. When he said if she loses it, she's going to be in trouble. Like, that's just a playful thing. Again, it's more like they're really connected. Like, that's the playful kind of banter that you see, I think, in more of a good relationship, particularly with like confident people, versus like Harry's constant looking for approval and just being pathetic with her.
We are. We're like sort of ducks. It's sort of very calm on the surface, but little feet going under the water. But no, it's been really exciting. We've been talking about it for a long time.
Isn't that so interesting, the contrast? Because they seem so calm and confident to me, but so together. But as I think they're willing to admit vulnerabilities, but real. And I think this is the big difference and this huge contrast with this like victim crybaby culture, which people are saying they're being vulnerable, but they're not. They're complaining. It's self-indulgent, like this Harry and Meghan stuff with Dr. Mate, where it's just like, oh, poor me, I grew up, my father was a lighting director, and, blah, 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 and poor me, my brother's cooler than me. That is just like this indulgent thing. People enjoy the complaining, versus this is actually like actual vulnerability, where you're not dumping all your garbage on people, like being toxic. It's just like, hey, I'm not a perfect, I'm nervous, or I was like worried about this. It's like charming from someone who's truly confident.
To be in the perfect place.
So how much did you, Prince Harry, know about Meghan? Had you seen her on TV?
Notice again with the perfect place, right? Like, they're very, very focused on talking about how good everything that they do is, right? Like, their proposal's perfect, they were in the perfect place. Just, they're very concerned with their image. And that is a bad, bad, bad sign, because it's like a relationship. The more important part is having a great relationship. Like, sure, you want to come off well, that's human, right? And that's interesting too. If you look at William and Kate, they would probably admit, yeah, we want to come off well, because that's a human thing. Harry and Meghan are like, no, we don't care what anyone thinks, we just want privacy. It's really interesting. Like, I see this so often, these people go in these absolute extremes, like, I've never had a selfish thought, I'm perfect. It's like, I don't know, it's just like, we need to be seen as perfect, and we'll never admit that we're human.
I'd never even heard about her until this friend said Meghan Markle. I was like, right, okay, give me.
What a fool. What a fool. Like, because also, if you look at how they met, right, like, have some self-awareness. You are literally a prince of England. So if someone comes and says, hey, there's the name of this girl, Meghan Markle, why would that be like, oh, I want to meet her? That's just a name. Shouldn't you think, like, hey, maybe there's a reason that they're introducing him to her. Like, maybe she slept with that guy and said, if I sleep with you, you know, like twice a week for a month, will you introduce me to Harry? Or something like that. I don't know. That might have been what she did. Or maybe she blackmailed somebody. Like that's not a good way to meet somebody if you're the prince of a country, right? Like, don't you realize you have this status? Like, think, use your brain. Why would this woman be wanting to meet you if she had no idea who you were? Obviously, she knows who you are.
Bit of background, what's going on here. So no, I'd never watched Suits. I'd never heard of Meghan before, and I was beautifully surprised when I walked into that room and saw her, and there she was sitting there. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna really have to up my game.
Again, that is like, I don't know, like, his frame is really bad. Like, the level of self-deprecation is not good. And from what I have seen, generally, is relationships like that don't work. When someone is too self-deprecating, especially the guy. I remember I went out with a couple, and it was true, the woman was very attractive. The guy was like a little less confident, and he would always make these self-deprecating jokes. And then his girlfriend, like, he would walk away, he was my friend, would start flirting with me, and would like talk bad about him. So I'm like, she doesn't respect him at all. You know, I'm not a jerk, so I was just like, oh, hey, nice, that's nice, or whatever. And of course, she dumped him. So, like, that's not good. Like, again, the self-deprecation can be cool, like the way William does it, but it's like you could tell he's got real confidence. Whereas Harry, there's like real nervousness there. So again, I think that's her taking total control. I think she doesn't and didn't really like him, but found him as a good mark. Because again, let me know, a lot more of my viewers are women. I don't think most women like that. If there's actually, you know, a guy, you know, obviously you want a guy to think very highly of you, be very attracted to you, but I don't think most women are actually attracted to a guy who's like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm no good, like I'm, you know, bumbling fool or whatever.
I'm gonna sit down and and make sure I've got a good chat.
I think for both of us, though, it was really
All right,
refreshing.
now she just jumps in, like, actually, let me actually tell you, for both of us, like, he just said whatever he's saying, but let me set the frame now. Again, you see that, he's the bumbling fool, she's in total control, and again, I'm not saying, you know, a good couple can't trade, you know, the speaking stage or what have you, but I think it's in like that emotional sense. Like, he's insecure, he needs her approval, and she uses that to take total control of their image, of the image of him, and the story of their relationship. But some people, many of my viewers, well, I think all of my consistent viewers have seen through it.
It's a real relief, and it's really nice to be able to tell everybody, because especially the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Just feel the difference in that like feeling watching them. Like, you notice I was hyped up. Even now, it's like calming. Like, I would feel like these would be pleasant people to be around. It's a whole different effect on your emotions. Really amazing, again, that the human brain, at a very instinctive level, we pick up on certain things, even if we're not conscious of it.
Quite difficult not telling anyone, keeping it to ourselves. For reasons we had to, and it's really nice to finally be able to share it with everyone.
Listen to the difference. Remember, Harry and Meghan it's like, we wanted to keep it secret and the press, blah, blah, blah. So it's always like they're going over the top. It's like they lie and they go 50 million miles away. Like, no one should ever know anything, right? Whereas he's saying like, yeah, we wanted to tell people, but we couldn't. Like admitting things. Like, you know, Catherine admits that she knew who William was. We're not even admitting, right? Like they're so lacking in that extreme insecurity and obsession with image that it doesn't even feel like they're admitting. They're just stating facts. So if that makes sense, like with Harry and Meghan, everything feels like it would be an admission because they're so focused on their image and obsessed with it and controlling it. Whereas here it's just normal. It's like, of course we want to tell people. Of course I knew who the freaking prince of my country is. You know, or, you know, Meghan's in the US. Yeah, trust me, she knew who Harry was. I mean, everyone does, but...
And you obviously have kept it a secret, so when did you ask Kate's dad, and what did he say?
Also, again, you notice, like, I really like both of their vibe. Like, he's just calm. He's got this calm but, like, confident smile. Like, he's kind of, like, enjoying himself. And again, I say with Katherine, it really stuck out to me how she has that kind of calm, like, soft, like, way of being to her that I think is really positive that I find in a relationship, where it's like, for me personally, let's say if I'm working really hard and then I was dating someone and I spent time with her, it's like, oh, like I feel rejuvenated afterwards. Whereas Meghan, it would be like, ugh, like it's stress, you know?
What did your respective parents say when you told them?
Well, I was torn between asking Kate's dad first and then the realisation that he might actually say no dawned upon me. So I thought if I ask Kate first, then he can't really say no. So I did that way around. And
that's just really funny. Again, he's very charming. You know, it's like a little self-deprecating, but with like a lot of confidence to it. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, he's just funny and charming. So I think it's great, you know, for the world who's going to get a lot more of him as compared to Harry, you know, and the two of them, because I think they're a positive, you know, force when people listen to them, learning a good example of communication, spreading kind of more positive, calm emotions as compared to like the chaoticness of Harry and Meghan. Thanks so much, guys. I'm really enjoying making these videos. I'll see you soon. Oh yeah, and I'm making the email list so you can get some extra videos from time to time, and we'll see what else comes in the future. You just click below, you enter your email, and you will get videos as I make them. Either there'll be videos that are off, only unlisted, and sometimes videos in advance. Maybe from time to time I'll let you know when this video comes out, but for the most part it's going to be for extra content.